Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Seriously, it's been daily. Like really daily. Like I think 7 days in a row so far.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I haven't been interrupted. It's episode 2649 at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Hey, I just kind of sounded Italian for a second, but that's okay. Or was it the Fonz going, hey? I don't know. Or when you're Canadian, you go, what's up, eh?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
These are all things that I've learned in life. Welcome to the show. I think I need to take a break.
Mike's
I've done way too many of these.
Podcast.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We just may be a real daily podcast after all. You know what? If you're listening to this on the 28th of July, it's National Talk in an Elevator Day. Elevators are just weird. Do you know who does not get on elevators ever is David Foster, the producer that worked with Celine Dion, Michael Bublé, Chicago, and a couple other 80s groups and artists. He said no, can't stand. The only time he gets in an elevator is if he's drugged, like if he's in a hospital or something and they're moving him to another floor. He said no, I'm afraid of going into an elevator because I'm afraid of hearing my music. That's the joke, he says. It's also National Chocolate Milk Day. No, it's actually National Milk Chocolate Day. Not the dark chocolate, but the milk chocolate. Some people can go for that better than the dark chocolate because the dark chocolate's too intense. I remember once upon a time, I would eat a lot of chocolate because I lived near Ghirardelli, the big Ghirardelli factory over there in San Leandro, but nope, I don't go there anymore. And it's also National Get Gnarly Day. Gnarly, dude. That's interesting. Gnarly.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And National Water Park Day. Maybe when you're riding one of those waves, you go, gnarly waves, dude. And that's water parks. Gosh, I haven't been to a water park in a while. I guess I have been in a pool. Oh, yes. We went to the local Podcastro Valley lagoon that you can go swimming in. And there's a bunch of kids, and they have an adult swim time, I think twice a day. And we happen to be there for both of those times. And just like that Cartoon Network thing where it's adults only. Hey, it's the late great Basil the Boxer. He never got to go to the lagoon because they don't allow pets. Although somebody had a tiny little dog. I don't know how they snuck that guy in. He was cute. But yes, the late great Basil the Boxer. And the podcast picture is of him from 6 years ago. We were walking along Hayward Regional Shoreline, trying to stay cool. There's all these cool little beaches and stuff, and nobody's around. It's interesting because you're in the Bay Area where there are so many people, and there are people on top of people. And when you're driving, like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's cars on top of cars on top of cars, cars. And boats. Elvis loved boats. That's a Mojo Nixon song. But no, it's really just so when you go to the Hayward Regional Shoreline and there's nobody around and there's these private little beaches, even though the water's kind of iffy because it's the bay water, but it's actually really warm. You stick your feet in it. It's kind of nice. Just I wouldn't go all the way up to your waist because then you're walking in sludge and probably going to step on some old boat that sank. And there's metal jutting up out of the ground underwater thing. So now I've completely educated you onto what the things that were going on today were. You're welcome. Yes, and I have some other bits of information. This email came to me that in Italy there is a high-speed train from Rome to Pompeii. Speaking of Italy and going high-speed train from Rome to Pompeii, a direct train service in under 2 hours. There is an agreement that has been reached. That includes the Italian Ministry of Culture and the Italian State Railway. On Sunday, tourists and visitors can now reach the archaeological site quickly and comfortably. The new service was officially opened.
The Fascinating Material Project.
Actually, 2 Sundays ago, when dignitaries were there, including Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Wasn't she the one that just visited Biden? Trump, somebody in office, the president. Who's our president? Yes, visited Biden. The premier expressed her satisfaction with the project, which enhances the appeal of one of the world's most popular archaeological sites and encourages tourism. That is a key industry in Italy. The no change service, is that no change or no charge service? Between Rome and Pompeii, maybe it's probably no change because you don't change trains at all. It just goes straight from Rome to Pompeii. It becomes a tool to promote tourism and culture and unite the country by improving access to its historical assets. Okay. That's going on in Italy. Did you know? And also, there's this other bit of interesting information that Taylor Swift's had an impact on our economy. And I know that for a fact because she's coming to the Bay Area this weekend. And there's tons of fans that showed up today. I think it's at is it Levi Stadium in Santa Clara? But I think that's where she's going to be. So she showed up in the San Jose, Santa Clara area. No, well, she hasn't showed up yet, but her merch showed up. Yes, all of her concert stuff to sell, all the stuff she's selling. T-shirts, swag, whatever you want to call it.
Woo!
That was there today near where the concert's going to be this weekend. And they did that so that fans could buy it and then go to the concert this weekend as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Anyway.
So that people could do that today and then not worry about it during the concert. Because, people forget her concerts. That's an actual thing. It's Taylor Swift amnesia. TSA. To sway. Taylor Swift amnesia. So her Eras tour, she's calling it Eras, or is it ERAS, consists of 131 concerts across 17 states and 5 continents. It caught the attention of the Federal Reserve due to its noticeable impact on local economies. The tour has attracted hundreds of thousands of Taylor Swift fans, or Swifties as they love to be called, has helped boost hotel revenue considerably. The Fed said, quote, Philadelphia just had its strongest month for hotel revenue since the onset of the pandemic. Hotel prices more than tripled in anticipation of the tour in some cities, including Pittsburgh, Minneapolis, and Kansas City. The hotel occupancy rate approached 100%, and hotel reservation platforms crashed due to a surge in web traffic, thanks to Taylor, whom I met years and years ago when she was just getting started, and she had that really long curly hair, and she showed up at the radio station because she was promoting her country album.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
And she got popular because she wrote a song called Tim McGraw, and everybody knew who Tim McGraw was. He was really popular at the time. And then it came out that, oh, hey, she writes all of her songs. What? Oh, she does that all on her own. Wow, amazing. And meanwhile, there was other female country singers at the time that were having a difficult time getting popular. Something happened right around 2001 when 9/11 happened, that the country music charts went totally male. Only male artists were on the top 20 of the country music charts. Women tried, but they were looked upon as not country enough. Like the country music had to become super country in order to support the country because we'd been attacked as a nation. I don't know. may not remember those days, but it was a bizarre time. And the Dixie Chicks, they got in big trouble because they were on foreign soil, and Natalie Maines expressed how she felt about George Bush and George W. Bush, and that created a whole thing where they didn't respond right away, and it just made it worse and worse for them. They didn't explain themselves, and, well, there was a backlash against them, and then by association, all female artists as well got into that. So as the dust died down a little bit, country female singing sensations had to be a lot more country. And Taylor, well, she ain't country at all now. She's total pop. She did kind of an acoustic album, in the past 3 years? But what she did with the guy from is it The National? And he wrote a lot of songs with her, and then she did a song with him on his album with his band, The National.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
And right about then, female country artists were starting to get popular again. Faith Hill was making a comeback, Martina McBride. Shania Twain was cast out because it was completely, they weren't going for any female pop artists. Female country pop artists was a no. You had to be a country female country artist. Now, Leanne Womack, I'm going too deep, I know, into the country music world. Sorry. Oh, and I heard on the radio today on some talk station, some sports talk station, which I never listened to those stations, but some lady said, "Wake me up when September ends." Like that song. She said, "You know that song. You know who does that song?" And the guy goes, "No." I'm like, come on, you're in the Bay Area. You don't know who does Wake Me Up When September. It's freaking Green Day. One of the biggest bands in the Bay Area. You can't tell me you don't know that song. Well, I don't know that song. Oh my gosh, what are you doing on the radio? What are you doing being popular on the radio in the Bay Area? How is that justifiable? So you had Leanne Womack, who was a lot more country as a female artist. She got popular in the O's. Remember her I Hope You Dance song, which actually turned into a pop song and got popular on the pop charts. So Taylor Swift, that's where it all began. Years and years ago, I remember when she performed in Ventura, right there on the beach. We had a special event going on at the station that I worked for. We had 3 stations altogether, and the country station had Taylor Swift. The pop station had a band that completely disappeared. I don't even remember their name. Wow. Yeah, I can't even. They were very unimpressive. But Taylor, a bunch of people showed up to see her. I remember hanging out backstage with her mom for a while. It was interesting to see where she went from there. But she just had really catchy songs. Then she ruled the country charts in the late O's. And then she went more and more pop. She had that pop album in the early 10s. Yeah, you know how it went from there. The hotel occupancy rate approached 100%. Hotel reservation platforms crashed because of Taylor. And Taylor's tour was in Denver, Colorado. It did something like $140 million for the state's gross domestic product, for Colorado's gross domestic product.
Mike's out of left field recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated. Magnification.
The totality of Taylor Swift's U.S. tour could generate $4.6 billion in total consumer spending, larger than the GDP of 35 countries. Thank you. Well, Disney could soon sell all of its TV assets. Bob Iger, the CEO, opened the door to selling the company's linear TV assets as the business struggles during the media industry's transition to streaming and digital offerings. So Disney owns a portfolio of TV networks from broadcast station ABC to cable TV channels like FX and ESPN. They got FX when Disney bought Fox a couple years back. Disney is open to finding a strategic partner for ESPN. And there's also the Iger predicted the future of traditional TV and has been very pessimistic and has found it's worse than he expected. Disney has cut $5.5 billion in costs, consisting of $3 billion from content, and they've laid off 7,000 jobs. Disney saw a loss of 4 million subscribers at its flagship streamer, Disney Plus. And Pixar Animation,
Ginormous,
which is associated with Disney, had some misses in the past 2 years, as have other Disney movies like The Little Mermaid. Disney is slowing down when it comes to making movies and TV shows for its Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm franchises. Earlier this year, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania debuted at the 31st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it kicks off the 5th phase of the 15-year-old franchise. On the Lucasfilm front, though, there hasn't been a Star Wars film in theaters since 2019, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the 5th film in that franchise, was underwhelming at the box office. So there is that. And I guess that's pretty much... Oh, Amazon, by the way. We were talking about Amazon on the last podcast. And we were talking about how when you're trying to buy a particular product, how a lot of you have to do a lot of research on Amazon to find out if it has something specific that you need. You can't find out if it has what you need until you buy it. Sometimes in the comments it tells you, oh yeah, it's got that thing that you want, that extra USB port, or it's got an extra sleeve, I don't know, an extra pocket. Amazon, whatever, clothes. It's that kind of thing. Are these shoes really comfortable, or am I wasting my money? Amazon touts biggest day ever for Prime Day as U.S. online sales surged 6.1% to $12.7 billion, and shoppers purchased more than 375 million items.
Whoa! Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
And I got all that information from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. It's The Rob Black Show, or Rob Black and Your Money. And we're outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. To cool you down, I have made more snow globes made out of snow. Mike Matthews.
Thank you. Oh, do you really wish that someday that you could sell these snow globes at a Taylor Swift concert?
Mike Matthews, Taylor Swift is the greatest singer of all time, Mike Matthews.
Even better than Pink?
Mike Matthews, you know what? She's really honest and sincere, and she goes through a lot of problems and troubles with men, Mike Matthews.
Do you think that you want to be Taylor Swift someday?
That's a stupid question.
Well, I don't know. Thought I'd just ask.
I don't want to be Taylor Swift, Mike Matthews.
Okay. Well, there you go. It's interesting. She still, she just manages to reinvent herself, or she does a lot of stuff that, as someone who's been in the music industry, sort of on the periphery of the music industry, or who has studied the music industry and what comes out of it for decades, for eons, for eras, if you will, I find she does things that I'm like, wait, you can actually do that? Like, she had the highest charting song that was over 10 minutes, and that hadn't been done since Don McLean did Bye Bye Miss American Pie. She was able to go back, re-record an entire album and release it, just so that she could say, hey, I own this material. That guy, that awful manager she had, that was it the guy from the record label that tried to hold on to all of her early works? Well, she said, I'll just re-record everything. And she, other artists have tried re-recording her stuff and nothing happened. It's kind of a nice little present to fans. But she actually, those albums charted again, and new singles came off of it, and those charted. And she got more and more exposure on the radio. So she collaborates with interesting people. I have a lot of respect for her. Her lyrics sometimes push boundaries. She talked a lot about what people believe and what she disagrees with. And, she puts that in her songs. And that's very interesting. I'm always amazed when musicians and artists really are honest. So kudos to her. Now would I ever go to a Taylor Swift concert? No. Maybe. Who knows? It'd be an interesting experience. And who knows how long this will last? At some point she won't be popular anymore. She knows that. And but for now, the winning streak continues. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. That's very interesting about Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and she pokes fun at herself in her videos. She goes back and, she was linked to Taylor Lautner eons ago, and now she's back. Told off. She had him in one of her recent videos. So it's when he was all popular with Twilight back in the O's. So late O's. But whatever. Who am I to say? What do you think? Give me a call. 510-228-4640. 510-228-4640, because we are in the Bay Area. And with more ways to reach me, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!